This is the Astrology and Tarot Show with Jessica Adams.
Thanks, Shane. This is your horoscope and tarot for the week starting August 18. And happy birthday to my father, Michael Adams, who turns 91 on August 18. Many happy returns if it's your birthday too. By the way, do you have Virgo factors? Well, the sun enters Virgo on August 22, and we have a new moon in Virgo on August 23. So you can expect a green light and a new beginning with work, unpaid work, or academia. Your tarot this week can be decoded at my website. Aries, Temperance; Taurus, the Sun; Gemini, the Four of Wands; Cancer, the Ace of Wands; Leo, the Ace of Pentacles; Virgo, the Two of Wands; Libra, the Hermit; Scorpio, the Three of Cups; Sagittarius, the Ace of Swords; Capricorn, the World; Aquarius, the Four of Pentacles; and Pisces, the Lovers. Aries, well, let's have a look at the health, mental health, fitness and well-being aspect of the new moon first. Everything about your health on all levels will be more obvious now, which is why it's time, classically, for a medical checkup, an appointment about insomnia, a time at the dentist, and so on. It depends on the way you are and the shape that you're in. Even if you're already receiving medical or alternative health treatment, this period now is extremely useful as it sheds light on everything. This cycle is also about work, unpaid work, and study for you, Aries. If you have Virgo birth chart factors, life as it was 18 or 19 years ago is coming back to you this week as you are owed, or you owe, on a karmic level. Whatever your birth chart looks like, the Sixth House Life Review this week is associated with all part-time and full-time work, housework, and any unpaid work, like being a volunteer or a carer. A reboot is coming. This is your annual maintenance check, and you also have a new beginning with a green light in Virgo coming along. This is quite an important week for you in the context of what's happening on a wider scale in your country or worldwide, for example, with government decisions on private or public healthcare or health insurance. It's on that level too. So it's not just you this week going through it, Aries. Everybody's going through it with you. Taurus. And so to the new moon in your fifth house, which rules the bedroom and courtship, heirs, spares, and pretenders to your throne. Typically, this is about a marriage, for example, or your son or daughter, but it depends on your private life and how you play it. It is always, however, about a green light, a fresh start, a reboot, and a new beginning with all close relationships and a younger generation. If you happen to have Leo factors in your birth chart, Taurus, then a very long and winding road with relationships will straighten out next week. This week is the last of Mercury retrograde in Leo in your birth chart. So until then, things are still a bit wavy gravy. However, it does straighten out. Whatever your chart looks like, this cycle is about pregnancy for some of you, babies, infants, children, teenagers, and Generation Z. What you're going through at the moment is as much about other people being undecided, unclear, or not resolved, as it is about your own questions, as everybody else is also going through this slightly wavy cycle. There is still a green light for you, but it may take a few days to sort out, a bit like going from green to amber to red and back to green. This does affect you as a parent, a godparent, a step-parent, an aunt, uncle or grandparent, and maybe as a professional involved with younger people, like a teacher. What you're being shown is the road ahead. That's what a new moon does. It's always about everything starting again, and this time you're on a different track. Gemini. Well, if you're one of those Geminis with Cancer birth chart factors, financially, this is a lucky time for you, right up until June 2026, with a new beginning, particularly with houses, land, or apartments. Whatever your chart looks like, this week is about the green light and the new beginning you always get with a new moon, with your finances, may be connected to property, real estate, a lease, and very much about a green light with your extended family circle, your flatmates or roommates, and your household. You should be reading every sign this week and following up every piece of feedback according to your horoscope, as you are being put on a very different path for next year. In fact, what you decide to do around this new moon will alter things over the next 12 months. If when I say family, you immediately think about your brother, your sister, or your cousin, then that's not surprising, as Gemini, the heavenly twins, tends to rule sibling or cousin relationships. If so, there is a revolution underway with or for or around this person, which will set you free and bring you independence, as you were born with the sun in Gemini in the third house of siblings and cousins in your birth chart. Uranus, the planet of radical change, is now going through there until November this year, and it will resume transmission from around Easter 2026. So if when I say family, that's what you're thinking about, the stars are telling you this is changing, it will go on changing, and it will make you quite independent. Cancer. The third house of your chart, ruled by Virgo, where we now find the new moon, rules brothers, sisters, and cousins, communication through the media and the internet, and short-haul travel, so a quick plane trip or a weekend car expedition. The third house is about how you connect and communicate, but it is also about siblings, cousins, the neighbours, the neighbourhood, and very much about getting from A to B. The whole world has been going through Mercury retrograde since July, and we're still there. It doesn't stop until around August 25. So this may be influencing your ability to get around, or other people's ability to get through to you or arrive where you are. Beginning with your siblings or cousins and your neighbours too, at this time of year, your relationship with them will be more obvious to other people. So if you're Prince William, who's a Cancerian like you, it's about Harry. Or it's about the whole country of Wales, if you also happen to be Prince William, because you live in England. People next door, places next door of all kinds, are now where your attention goes and energy flows. When we look at your birth chart, any Gemini factors that you have Cancer show a bigger revolution is taking place with Uranus in Gemini, and you'll see it unfold over the next 12 months in connection with the media, the internet, siblings and cousins, neighbours and neighbouring places, and short journeys or commuting. When I say revolution, I mean radical change. And according to your horoscope, it would be happening almost like a lightning bolt. Whatever your birth chart looks like, this week is all about the new moon, and you're ruled by the moon, so it's personal to you. This is a new beginning. And all aspects of the internet that are also very new, like the development of AI, may be part of the story. This week, it's time to realise your next 12 months is almost being formed now, with particular reference to those relationships that I was talking about, getting around from A to B or getting through. Leo, your financial position, your salary, your money, your tax, your assets, possessions, house or apartment, land, and your debts will be in sharp focus as your rule of the sun starts to go through Virgo, which rules all of that in your chart. You'll be looking at the numbers this week and thinking about a fresh start, or the new beginning will be offered to you, and it may be anything from an inheritance to your life budget to a charity or shares. If the financial, business or property picture falls short of your own or other people's expectations, then you'll be fixing that up over the next 3 weeks. If you have reasons to feel proud because you have put the energy and time in over the last 12 months, then this week could find you basking in other people's admiration. It really depends on what you've done since this cycle was there about this time last year, Leo. In your birth chart, if you have anything in the sign of Taurus, then you are going through the biggest changes of your adult life with money or property, as you probably know. In fact, it's been going on since 2018. What you're being shown this week is part of that story, which will pick up again in the month of November this year and take you through to March, April 2026. Whatever your birth chart looks like, this week will feel as if you're at the starting position of something very new with your finance. Virgo. Your birthday falls in this cycle with the new moon in Virgo, your own sign, and the sun there too. So you and your personality, your profile, your portrait online will be in the spotlight for a few days as people wonder who you really are and try to figure you all out. Even famous Virgos like Chrissy Hine become overexposed now. It's like standing on an old Hollywood film set under a giant spotlight. And that Pretenders song, Don't Get Me Wrong, from Chrissy Hine, says it all. If other people have got you wrong, now you'll realise it and fix it. But with any luck, you will be basking in other people's admiration as the spotlight turns on you and who you are between now and next month. Quite apart from your birthday, this cycle will bring other developments which put your name or face out there where other people can give them more time, energy, and attention. If you're one of those Virgo people who have factors in Aries in your birth chart, this is a triple whammy, a quadruple whammy, because you also have Chiron, Saturn, and Neptune in your first house of image, relaunch, and rebooting. So might be interested in anything from a radically different haircut over the next few months to a brand new name for yourself. Even if you don't have Aries factors or you don't know, you're still on the path to some kind of relaunch or reboot this week. Libra, you have a new moon in your 12th house this week, and the 12th house is about psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, psychics, mediums, priests, rabbis, monks, hypnotists, and anybody else who attends to your soul or your spirit or your psychology. Otherwise, you're doing this very much alone and will be navel-gazing because it's time for a new beginning. This week could be about your Jewish or Anglican background as much as it might be about your tarot cards or your medication, maybe. Only you know. And most of this happens alone. At best, it will be with one other person who you confide in. This week asks you to look at what's inside your clockwork. Often your childhood or teenage experiences will come up with religion, whether you were brought up in a religious household or not. It's also a typical week for dreams that you can remember that seem to hold a message for you. And it's a big week for a fresh start with meditation, psychic experiences, or the spiritual side of your nature. You could, for example, leave the church this week, start a self-help course for yourself, or begin a new yoga or meditation course. Your secret self is where the spotlight now turns. So if you're one of those Libran people who have Pisces factors in her or his birth chart, you can double that message because you currently have the North Node also going through Pisces and this same 12th house. So in your birth chart, it's also showing up, and life as it was 18 or 19 years ago will be affecting what happens this week. Scorpio, you'll make a new friend this week, join a new group, reboot an old friendship, or come back to an existing club, team, social media website, or network. At the same time, the sun will illuminate your own performance as a friend. You'll be thrown into situations which highlight what you do and do not bring to your friendships and to the group. The spotlight may also go on a friend or on the group. For example, with the Democrats, if you are a Democrat. Scorpio, if you have Aquarius factors, this week is really important. This is part of a bigger transformation with friends and groups, which you will see peaking in January and February 2026. If you do have Aquarius factors, there are major questions here about power and control in the friendship and in the group. And this week nods to that. Whatever your chart looks like, very importantly this week, it's time to understand that the group is diverse, the people are very different, and there has to be space for everyone. That's not particularly your way, as you are not that kind of sign. You are more emotional than that, Scorpio, and you tend to have an interest in the politics between friends and groups too. But your chart is telling you it's time to understand that somehow everybody has to tolerate and give room to everybody else just because of the diversity. Whatever your birth chart looks like, whether you have Aquarius factors or not, the new moon in Virgo is a new start for you, he, she, or they. It could be with Mumsnet or it could be with a heavy metal band, but it will alter your course for the next 12 months. Sagittarius. For around 3 weeks now, you are going to be seen purely in terms of your business, your career, your achievement, your success, and your mission. The world is watching you, Sagittarius, with a new moon in your 10th house. There is also a new job, project, role, course, or calling for you up ahead. Maybe it's retirement, or maybe it's a new college or university course, perhaps a special plan. The new beginning will come within 24 hours of this new moon in Virgo. If you have Virgo factors in your birth chart or natal chart, then this is doubly important, and life as it was 18 or 19 years before will come back to you as you are owed, or perhaps you also owe. You should also keep your eyes on November 2025 to April 2026, and those months may already be in your diary, as the most radical final change to your workload and lifestyle in many years will come along then. It may even involve health or well-being for some of you, and it would be a revolution. Perhaps those dates, November to April next year, will be part of what you discuss this week. And these trends apply to you even if you're retired, between jobs, have full-time home duties, or unpaid work. Everything about how you perform in terms of others who are employing you, working for you, competing with you, or working alongside you is now pretty lit up. And so understand that it's almost like having a camera trained on you. Of course, maybe a camera is trained on you, depending on your career. Capricorn, this week you're asked to understand what it is that sets you apart from other people in terms of foreigners and foreign countries, study, publishing, teaching, or the world part of the World Wide Web. It's all pretty brightly lit in the spotlight as the sun starts to go through Virgo and the 9th house of your chart. You may feel as if you are watching yourself, which is quite normal on this cycle. Understanding people from other cultures, nationalities, and with other languages is part of it. And you may find that two parts of this transit join up. So, for example, it may be about international students at your college or university. However it shows up, if you are overdue for special attention and admiration, you will receive it this week as the sun shows other people where you're at. And again, this is about academia, publishing, foreigners and foreign people, and the world part of the World Wide Web. The 9th house used to rule sea voyages a few centuries ago. Now it rules long-haul flights, foreign countries to visit or live in, and people from other countries and cultures in your town. It's a time of reckoning, and it's pretty helpful. You can use it and learn from it, and you will have the same cycle in around a year. So come back here for a progress report next year. Aquarius. A fresh start, not possible in 12 months, is coming along this week with finance or property, possessions, valuables, charity, business. The new moon suggests that you will be turning over a new leaf. So this might include your mortgage, your tax, your accountant, an inheritance, commission, loan, and so on. If you're one of those Aquarius people with Taurus factors in your birth chart, this week is about even more radical changes coming along in November 2025, and it would not be until April 2026 that you can say, at last, the revolution is over. If you do have Taurus factors natally, then the revolution has been stop-start, but ultimately after Easter next year, you will be free and you will be independent of something or someone, maybe, for example, your bank. In any case, you have a new peak to scale now, whatever your chart looks like. Now, Aquarius, this week will show you how you've done over the last 12 months, whether you've been saving or spending, earning or not, maybe borrowing. And this is a large-scale thing. It's not just about you. The whole world, your entire country, has been going through the most unpredictable economic cycle of your adult life, and it began in 2018. So much of this is beyond you. And it may be, for example, Donald Trump's tariffs. The ripple effect has been reaching your shore. But this week lets you know, A, this is going to stop. within 12 months, and B, you are also now in a position to make a new life budget. Pisces, your partner, former partner, or potential partner will be in the spotlight this week, and so will your enemy, opponent, or rival if you have one. This week is about an important reboot with your duet, whatever kind of duet that is, or your duel. It may be personal, like a marriage, or professional, like a business partnership. It may be very personal, like a feud with your ex-husband or ex-wife, or it may be purely part of your profession. So you are in a business or an industry where the other side is pushing against you. Pisces, however you're placed this week, and you may experience this transit on both levels, you have a new moon and therefore a new beginning. If you are one of those Pisces people who have Leo factors in your birth chart, then weeks of never knowing and never tying anything down involving partners or children will end around August 25, as Mercury retrograde in Leo also ends. No matter what your birth chart looks like, if you do have opponents, enemies, or somebody pushing against you, it's your chance to examine how well you've handled this to date. And for some of you, there would be legal issues. The sun and new moon in Virgo is neither good nor bad in astrology. It just shows you everything for a 3-week period, as if you were seeing it through the eyes of other people, whether this is a relationship or whether it's a business partnership. This is your annual inspection and maintenance check performed by the world at large. If you do have Leo factors in your birth chart, then you will know where you stand at last from August 25, especially if the internet, the telephone, or the post has not been getting through for you with he or with she. This also applies to, for example, your children. Even if you don't have Leo factors or you don't know, just being a Pisces this week lets you know that looking at the scales which are balanced between you and the other person will do you a lot of good, and devoting more time and energy to working out the balancing of those scales is what this week is all about. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch up with you next week.